YouTube is, there it is. All right. We are good.
Welcome to the 034 Motorsport Zero Bullshit Q&A live chat. I'm Javad Shadzi, and this is Nate Stewart. We're going to answer all your questions about all things 034 and any Audi, Volkswagen, BMW, automotive related questions you have. We'd love to respond to. Put your questions into the social media comment field browser of your choice. We're currently streaming on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. If you ask us update questions or when something's going to be done or ready or if we're doing something, we will deprioritize those questions. Please don't get upset. We're not blackballing you. We just would like to prioritize and focus topical questions that we can actually answer. In some cases, if we feel it's appropriate, we'll respond to those update questions. But in general, they kind of set false expectations that we don't really want happening. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yep. So we got questions rolling in already, so let's jump on to that.
Be a coaster right away.
Yeah. I don't know. Number one, you guys need to.
All right, let's see.
Verify that. I don't know. Someone's asking about when something will be back in stock. If it doesn't say on the product page, then that means we're still getting an ETA. Generally, when products go out of stock, we put on the product page in text when it's anticipated to be available again. I don't have that information off the top of my head. B9.5 S4 Stage 1 93 octane. What happens if I add 1 gallon of E85 to a full tank of 93? 15.3 gallon full tank equals 14.3 gallons of 93 pump gas plus E85, 1 gallon. Pros versus cons.
I mean, what happens is, yeah, you're going to obviously bump your ethanol content and octane potentially up a little bit. There's a bunch of calculators online, and then the Fuel It app has a calculator you can punch in. If you know exact numbers like what you have here, then you can kind of figure out where your ethanol content is going to land, as long as you know the content of the ethanol going in. So that, again, could vary wildly if you're not familiar with the pumps. But yeah, I mean, some people will do this from time to time. It's none of our calibrations are set up to do anything with that information.
No.
It's just going to give you a little bit more octane on top of the 93.
I'm going to kind of lean out.
Move your fuel trims a little bit, exactly.
Yeah.
Lean out a smidge, according to your trims.
Yeah. I think it's something you could try. We don't recommend it, but I don't think it would hurt anything. You just have to be careful. You don't want to get your E content too high, then your calibration will no longer be valid. But if you add a little bit, like Nate said, you can bump up your timing, or bump up the octane and help your timing out a little bit. So the ECU may reduce corrections or add more timing up to the maximum safe level it's programmed to. By the way, the Stage 2 TCU update feels amazing. I tested it on drive mode, comfort. I can feel the power coming in early, and delays have been reduced quite significantly. Great work, 034. Keep it up. Glad you like it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that update should be pretty transformative across the board. Well, you'll notice it's smoother and faster still somehow in your drive and comfort modes, and sharper and faster again in the Sport and Dynamic Plus and AMAX stuff.
Mm-hmm. Would you say your Stage 2 Billet Catch Can Kit 8V 8.5 is okay to run cold winter months in the Northeast? So this goes with all catch cans. We recommend removing them in regions where it's cold and freezing. I'm not talking about it gets down to 30 degrees here and there like in California. That's fine. What I'm talking about is deep freezing. So if you park the car overnight and you're basically, if there was any water or moisture in that catch can, it's going to freeze solid. And the danger there is moisture and water and kind of this like almost mayonnaise-y emulsification can be in the hoses. And if that freezes up, it's going to block the flow of air through the catch can. Again, this isn't unique to our catch can. This is pretty much any catch can that's not heated.
Yep.
And so once that all freezes up, the engine is no longer really breathing. And that's not good. That's not helping the motor or the engine in any way. So I would say if you live in the Northeast in the snow belt, I would remove it probably in November, and maybe think about reinstalling it in April or something like that.
Yeah, I used to live in Maine and ran into this in the winter months. I discovered back in my early formative years of automotive tinkering on my 4000 Quattro when I had a catch can on there. So they can certainly freeze up in the frigid.
And any water inside your motor is also going to freeze, overnight in say 10, 15 degree temperatures. Your car is going to be 15 degrees by the next morning, and that means any water is going to be frozen. So yeah, it's just a problem with that. Now, if you park your car in a heated garage, I think you'd probably be okay.
If you're climate controlling it, and you're not going to be out for 24 plus hours in negative temperatures, then
and a little bit of this here and there is okay. And let's say you park your car outside all day and it freezes up, and you start it and then you drive it for an hour, it's all going to thaw out.
Yeah, and like to your point too, it's got to hit like the right situation where that line actually will get clogged, because once it's up to temperature and your engine bay's up to temp, everything's good to go.
It's going to melt.
I can think of only like one or two cases where I was midway through the winter, I was like, what the hell's going on with my motor? And it's like I've got steam and pressure coming out of everywhere that shouldn't be.
Right.
And the lines had frozen up. So it's just not something you can depend on.
Yeah, the real issue is if you park outside all the time and you're just driving like 5-10 minutes from here to there, it's never going to thaw. So it's just better to remove it. I think it's safe to say you don't need a catch can in the winter. You're not hucking the car around high G corners. Not likely. I'm not talking about people who go ice racing and stuff like that. That's different. But just for normal people driving on the street in the winter, you're not lighting the world on fire with your driving. So you can remove it, and it's quick. These catch cans remove pretty quickly. Will you guys have an upgrade for the hideous Kia-looking design or the Temu quality steering wheel airbag on your B10 S5?
Harsh.
We're not sure. I think that's really harsh. I think the car is much nicer than a Kia. I think if you're just looking at still images on the internet, maybe it does. But in person, the car is very nice, and this is kind of the design language of the e-tron line. That started with kind of the Audi e-tron GT and the GT RS. That they're continuing for these newer B10 models, and it's just a design language. I think probably Kia and Hyundai and stuff, like to copy what Audi does, and then like 4 years later, everyone accuses
so
Audi of
you see the carbon
Kia.
copy looks going down the line. Another thing, like you said, do you actually own the B10? Are you finding this is the case of the quality, based on your experience, or just assumptions and forum banter kind of thing?
It's not that bad. I admit the steering wheel could be nicer.
Or different. I mean, it's a nice steering wheel. It's just
it's nice. It's plasticky. The airbag cover is not as nice of a plastic as they used in the B10, and I don't know why or what.
The B9.
The B9. I don't know why or what happened, but sure could a little cover to be made to go over that. That's not going to kill you when the airbag deploys. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see, but. Anyways,
we call those trade-offs in engineering, or compromises in engineering.
Yeah. So the one thing is there are opportunities in the aftermarket for us to address that. So we're not too worked up when the car doesn't come out perfect. That gives us the opportunity to release new products. So we'll see. Our main focus for the B10 will be, our typical suspension performance. Braking and tuning and calibration products to help the engine make the most power that it has potential of, and stuff like that. Last one says, guys, I love the updates. The 2021 SQ5 ECU TCU tunes. The shifts are extremely smooth. Great to hear. All the feedback I've seen online has been very good. So great to hear. And that was a free update to anyone who currently owns our tunes.
Yep.
Of course, for anyone who wants to buy them now, that's included.
We've got more coming.
Just ordered a 034 intake this morning for my 2021 SQ5. Thinking of Stage 1 ECU and TCU. What other mods will benefit the tune? Yeah, the intake is definitely something to consider. Intercoolers on those. So the intake and intercooler are the two big things for power. And then definitely jump into the tune. I strongly recommend that.
Yeah, and if you're in an area where ethanol is aplenty, the fuel pump upgrade also is very nice to have, supporting mod.
Yeah. I think we're done talking about Kias, so we can move on from that. Any possibility of 034 creating an RS-style grille for the B9, one that includes cameras and sensors? I don't know if that's something we would do. The challenge with these front bumpers and even like we're facing this right now with a product we're working on, is there's so many different trim and option levels. Now, if one grill fits all of them, then that could be something we would consider. But a lot of these bumpers and grills just change, like sometimes a couple times a year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like you said, B9. Well, which B9 are we talking? S4, S5, A4, A5,
Yeah.
all road.
Then there's a
The
facelift.
Q5s are also B9s. There's I think the project you're talking about, I think we were over a dozen iterations on.
Yeah.
Like a pretty tight model set of cars had 14 different bumper configurations. So yeah, it gets pretty ridiculous pretty quick with these new cars. They're in such a fast, like, it's easy for the OEMs, I guess, to churn out all these different shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, it used to be a bumper was what you got for a model.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've never released a grill product before, but thanks for the question. It's something that we would consider. Good afternoon. 2015 Audi SQ5 Stage 1 ECU TCU density transmount and transinsert. I have a stumble going from first to second gear when driving from a cold start. Any ideas? No idea. I would start by checking for any stored fault codes, and going from there. Yeah, I mean that'd be the first thing. See if you have any stored fault codes.
The question got deleted. That was what, a Q5?
SQ5.
SQ5?
Yeah.
Check for faults. I mean, if it's when it's stone cold, I mean, it's an automatic transmission. It's doing a lot of wizardry with cold fluid. If you haven't done a trans service in a very long time, could be something to consider.
Mm-hmm. Why is this question bold and stuff? What is that?
Nick did that.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that.
I fixed it for you.
Someone's asking, why don't you provide revisions to your tunes like competitors? We do.
All the time.
We have. I'm not sure why you think that we don't. It's a little concerning. We just released a free Stage 2 TCU update for the B9 applications last week. We've released on a regular basis revisions and updates for all of our tunes and calibrations.
Yep. And if there's ever an issue across the thousands of ECUs that we deal with and support, we will drill into it. If there's an issue, we'll put out a revision. It might be for just that controller, or some subset of controllers that something was different from the base calibration that we have to address. But no, we do revisions all the time.
Yeah.
We have a tiered support system that supports all that, and it is a very common practice.
Yeah, and not to say that revisions are bad. They're not necessarily bad, but there are some calibrators or competitors out there that have a lot of issues with their tuning, and so they're just constantly having to do these updates.
We don't rely on them. That's the thing. We don't force everybody into some nerfed bass tune.
Yeah.
And then say, well, you got to send us logs so we can then make sure whatever we put together kind of works for you before we do
Yeah.
anything else. We have a very refined and developed calibration that shouldn't need any revisions, like I said, unless it's some outlier on some strange box code that is operating.
Most of the revisions that we do are before we release the file to fix all the basic issues with it. In general, the revisions we're doing are updates, improvements that are better than we've ever been able to do it before, or better than anyone else is doing it. So, innovations that we're able to make based on what we're learning.
Yeah,
our
new
work.
feature adds, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The B8 and B9 calibrations have. The major revision we're on like 7 or 8 on some of these, depending on what you're looking for. That's a considered a very high amount of work has gone into it to get it to that point, and has changed the base calibration strategies enough that we warrant a major revision change. So no, they're very actively, and to this day we're still revising and optimizing even further some quite old tunes at this point.
Yeah. So there's a follow-up. Says, good to know. Would you recommend your Stage 1 tune on B8?
I think we would, yes.
Yes. We'll go so far to say it's absolutely the best B8 Stage 1 tune on the market, and you're not going to find anything better out there. So, we strongly recommend it, and it is on sale currently.
Feature set's the biggest out there, accessibility, options, all the safeties, all the work that's gone into that.
And we support it with a full line of hardware as well. Yep. You can do just about anything and everything you want to a B8 through Stage 2 plus out of our account.
And make sure if you got a DSG, you could do the transmission tune as well. Well, I guess, or DSG or auto.
Hi, I installed the street engine mounts with resistors bypass, and I have errors. What should I do? SQ5 B9, I already checked the wires. I'm not sure. You could send an email to our tech support and see if they can help you. Could be that you have a bad resistor or something, and so we could maybe help you with some troubleshooting steps there.
I think we have seen too damaged, not necessarily the wires, but the connectors. Like if the stock mount drops down or gets pulled on, the pin can back out of the connector because it's a tiny little plastic clip that holds the pin at the face of it.
Yeah.
So it could be the wires are fine, but the actual connector pin internally is pushing back a little bit if it's like an open circuit fault or something like that.
I own both 034 and Unitronic software for my 2024 MK8 GTI. I feel when running the Stage 1 HT-E85 file, the Unitronic shifts feel much smoother and less laggy. Is that something you've heard of?
Have not.
I've not heard of that. The thing is, what you're describing is smoother or less laggy are very qualitative, perceptual things. And that's just a feel thing. To be fair, I don't think we've ever driven a Unitronic file, so we don't know how it drives. But the way our MK8 file shifts is engineered to be that way and very purposeful for a number of reasons. So we're not necessarily only tuning the shifts for feel or comfort or smoothness. We're also attempting to, deliver the power as quickly and efficiently as possible while still maintaining some amount of comfort. We could shift much faster and break your neck, but that's not what everyone wants. So we're all making different choices and kind of curating. So you're experiencing the personality and flavor of our tuning calibration. Again, we haven't tasted theirs, so we're not sure what you're comparing it to.
Yeah, I guess I'd be interested to know what laggy was, or like you said, it could just be the way that torque gradient is happening. There's no potentially no speed difference in the actual vehicle itself, but it's just that transition that might feel different. So we would need to see more data to know exactly what's going on.
We know for sure our B8 TCU tune does not have lag.
Oh, this is MK8.
Sorry, our MK8
Yeah.
TCU. None of our TCU tunes.
Well,
have
I guess that's my other question. Is this with the stock TCU? Because I just said high torque file, so I'm not sure even if this is stock TCU or tuned. So not a lot of info to go on here.
Okay. I was also excited to see you release the 2.0 TC update just a week after I bought it. Oh, well,
Free upgrade. Yep.
good stuff. Yeah. Do more timing corrections delay power delivery?
Delay power delivery.
No.
I mean,
The timing corrections are very small corrections in the range of up to a couple degrees typically
yeah, and it's per cylinder.
per cylinder in virtual real time. We're talking millisecond corrections. There could be dozens in less time than you could even perceive a moment of time. So I don't think they would create what was it, more lag?
And partly, yeah, guys, please don't delete the questions that quick.
Yeah, we're still answering.
A delay in power delivery, I believe, is what
Delay
said.
and power delay.
So,
yeah, but it will reduce power output if needed, potentially based on the amount of timing advance. But it's not going to delay power delivery or make the car feel laggy or anything like that.
To an extent, I guess you could say, because if you have a huge amount of knock and something's wrong and the ECU is going into a protection mode, then yeah, you'll have very reduced power delivery then. But just some normal knock activity or knock correction activity is
Yeah.
It does it factory, it does it across the board.
It's a reduced power delivery, but it's not delayed power
Yep.
delivery, and whatever that means.
Whatever, yeah, I'm not quite sure.
It's not like laggier.
Yeah.
But the amount of timing advance can determine how much power the motor is making. So your power can fluctuate up and down based on the optimal timing that's allowed in any current situation. This is why you're going to feel like the car is faster in cold weather. It's going to feel slower in really hot weather, hot, humid weather. So yeah. This number one thing, am I just supposed to read this?
I don't know.
I don't
It
know.
seems like
We
something
need
that should
to
be on the website.
we need to talk about this stuff more ahead of time and plan better.
That's
I'm
not
just
what's
not going to read big blocks of texts. I'm here to answer questions and give my opinion on things. Did somebody ask about that specifically?
I
Or?
don't think so.
Nick just put that on there.
Okay. Okay. In general, someone asked about our AI customer service assistant that we have on the website called Turbo. This is something we've had on our website for over a month now. This is not revolutionary. This is the same thing every other website on the internet has right now. But we spent about a year developing and training an artificial intelligence large language model to be an expert on all things 034 motorsport. It's basically a really advanced algorithm of all the information on our website that you can interact with. So for anyone who thinks that it's this terrible thing, it's just literally everything on our website that you can talk to.
Yeah, and a bunch of support information in the background as well. So it's a
It's a little bit more than that, but it's basically our website. So if you could in a fairy tale, if you could sprinkle fairy dust on our website and our website came to life like a candlestick in Beauty and the Beast, and you could talk to our website and you could be like, hey website, I got a question. Can you tell me about a sway bar for my B8 S4? And the website's like, sure, buddy, I can, absolutely. Here's a sway bar. Here it is. There's a link to it. You can click on it. I don't know. This is not a bad thing. So, so far the way our customers have interacted with it has been great, and I think it's been very helpful. It's available 24 hours a day. It's pretty much infinitely knowledgeable on all things 034. It doesn't know about anything outside of 034. If you ask it the meaning of life, it will give you an answer to the meaning of life in a very 034 centric way. It'll use all the data and information in the 034 universe to tell you what the meaning of life is. So it's pretty fun. It's been very helpful. And the feedback on it has been great. Now, some people have become angry or outraged. because it's not a real person and all this stuff. Now, if you're interacting with Turbo and you don't like it or you're not happy, you can opt out at any time and email a real person. And we still have our full customer service team, so it's not like Turbo's in addition to all of our customer service resources that we've had. And you can begin emailing a real person through our email ticketing system after that.
That's why the last 4 comments on YouTube.
What's it say?
I don't know if you can see that Turbo. Just the people that have found Turbos very helpful.
Good. Yeah. So the feedback people are saying is great.
Our support tickets are rolled into it. That's another point somebody brought up. So it's a very unified communication stream from your need of assistance straight to us. It's not just we're not trying to brush it off. We're trying to make it better for everybody.
Yeah. So we're still the same company, but there's this front end AI that is pretty much answering about 70% of our customers' questions before they send an email.
Yeah.
Emailing a human is great, and you can still do that. It's just real slow and clunky, and it takes our humans more than a few seconds to get back to you. And so the Turbo has access to all the same information, in some case much more information than a human can remember or retain. The Turbo doesn't ever forget anything, but we tell our employees things all the time and they remember for a few days and then they forget, right? Yeah. So so that's what Turbo's all about. We're still here. We still have a full team of humans. We still can't take phone calls because there's no way that we can serve all the customers we need to by phone. It's not possible. But we are able to take care of all of our customers who ever have any needs or questions. And we could still arrange to have a phone call with you if you really, really need it.
Yep.
We are still here and available.
Yep. Turbo's there to make sure that we can get to those that need the phone call as quick as possible. Even more so.
Someone says, I asked Turbo if Javad is a good boss. He evaded the question. I think he wants to unionize. It's very possible. We haven't been giving Turbo any breaks or time off, so that could be part of the problem. He works day and night. It's pretty crazy. Follow up to MK8 TCU question. Thank you for answering my question. I am running the locked ECU file. It just feels... he's just reading.
There's a difference between the shift feel, yeah. So, yeah, I mean...
Power feels better with 034, but slower shift time. I don't know.
Is it a slower shift time? That's what I'm wondering. Like, is it have you measured your data logged in any way that time? Is it a perception thing where it's just a smoother shift, or is it a different feeling shift, but it's the same time? Again, it's so hard to know subjective stuff like that. Yeah,
you would really... I mean, there's a difference between what's actually happening and how it feels. How it feels is important too, but we're definitely focused on having a fast shift.
Yep.
So if you'd like to email tuning@034motorsports.com, we'd be happy to evaluate what you're seeing and experiencing, just at least to make sure everything's okay on your car and stuff. I keep trying to see a question and it moves around. The spherical rear trailing arm kit for MQB only has 4 left on the website. Are they going out of production? No, definitely not. That's a very popular product. We sell lots of those. It just means we have 4 in stock and we have more coming. So at some point they will go out of stock. We do have out of stock products on our website, but that doesn't mean that they're being discontinued. So it just means it's very popular. Are your tunes compatible with OPF cars in Europe, like 8.5 V RS3?
Depends on the model. We do not have any currently for the RS3 OPF cars. We do have quite a few cars out there, like the S4s, B9 S4s and S5s with OPFs doing just fine.
In order to install your upgraded 11mm head bolts on the B9 RS5, does the engine need to come out? Thanks in advance. Not necessarily. That work can be done with the motor in the car. We are actually developing a toolkit to allow the drilling and tapping of 11 or 12mm head studs for that application. was hoping to have that out to market already, but it's still in production. With that kit, you would be able to do it in place once you remove the cylinder heads. But depends, what you're doing. If you're gonna do rods and pistons or build the motor, then obviously you have to pull it. But yeah, no, that can be done in place. You could also you may have a mechanic or a machinist that would attempt to do that in the car as well. But if you want to wait a little longer, we will have a really nice toolkit that will allow all that to be done. Can I stage one with just an intake mod? What else is recommended? As always, we recommend the intake and intercooler, but they're not required. They're recommended.
That's why we have a list of recommended parts. Stage one, generally on all these platforms, it can be run on a fully stock car. That's the intent.
Someone says, "I love your new media guy on Instagram." Thank you. Everyone says this every year, and
yes,
not to say that this year isn't just as true as the other years. Believe it or not, it's basically the same media people that have always been here, going back to me doing it myself, 15 years ago. I'm still very involved in it, but we have a great team, and this year things have been going more towards reels and less away from memes, and so the memes are these kind of reels in motion, or reels are kind of memes in motion, but that's great. So glad you're enjoying it. But yeah, we don't just hire new media guys every year. So we're it's the same basic spicy dank memeage that we've been doing for a while. Rolling. People are asking about B9 rolling anti-lag. That is something we're currently working on. It's
definitely
actively
coming.
working
Got
on
lots of development in place across literally all the B9 platforms and more right now, actually, too. But no, it is very much in development right now, along with a bunch of other cool stuff coming. But yes, we are hot and heavy on it, and it's going to be a very full-featured setup.
Yes, yeah, it'll be worth the wait. Yapping about a media guy and other dumb shit, but won't actually answer a tuning support question.
Nice.
What's the tuning support question that we haven't answered?
No idea.
Can you ask him? We've answered every question.
Sorry, it's dumb shit to answer other people's questions.
Yeah. I think you might want to take a chill pill there, bud. Is there a stage 1 and 2 tune for B8.5 DSG DL501?
Those we have a single tune for. That tune encompasses everything that's needed from stage 1 on through our 2+ supercharged 3-liter files. So nope, it's one size fits on those. But you'll see when you get in there, there's a number of different options for that tune. So we've got standard and race and all that. So we decided on that file to roll all those different things that could basically be two different products into one.
Yeah, I mean, rolling anti-lag's not done. If you want to switch to another tune, go ahead. I don't know what to tell you.
It's one of those things that we have a lot of solutions out for that do, I guess my question is, have you seen anybody go faster yet on any of these supposed improvements?
It's not about going faster. It's about popping and banging as you're rolling down the street next to your Corvette buddy and then taking off. And that's fine, and we will have that. I think you need to take a look in the mirror, though, dude, whoever wrote that question. Telling me that I'm up here talking about bullshit because you don't have rolling anti-lag. I think you may need to take a deep, dark look in the mirror and see how fucked up a kind of person you are. All right, so we're going to move on and answer other people's questions. We don't need customers like you. We have been talking about rolling anti-lag for a while, yes. We, in the meantime, have released other products, other innovations, made improvements to our tunes and calibrations that we have released since then. And rolling anti-lag is part of a huge update that we will be releasing. We never said it would be by the end of this year. I don't know where that's coming from. And harassing and haranguing us on the live chat is not going to get you rolling anti-lag any sooner. In fact, I'd be happy for you to be off our platform.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those frustrating things with offering any kind of updates or talking about things we're working on or giving it, little teasers here and there of what could be coming. Is we don't want to half-ass these solutions before they're out, or to get them to market in any way. So it's the stuff takes time and it's ready when it's ready. And I know a lot of people want it, but the rolling anti-lag is basically fluff for the most part.
From a performance standpoint.
It's a very cosmetic thing.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned before, it generally hasn't been a prioritized development path. We are working on it. It is a solution that's coming, but we're also doing it in a way that is going to be as performative and correctly done as possible.
Yeah, and we could just stop talking about it.
Yeah,
that way no one can accuse us of talking about it for
like,
3 years or whatever. But
yeah, we did tease some launch control stuff years ago with adjustable gauges and all that. So yes, it has been something we've had in our queue for quite some time.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you don't talk about it, then you're not doing it, and if you do talk about it as much as you can, then you're bullshitting and an idiot for missing supposed deadlines.
Yeah, so. I mean, we're not here selling files based on this thing that doesn't exist yet. We're not trying to persuade anyone that any which way. We're trying to tell you what the files have, what's coming, what it can do.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Yep.
That's enough about that bullshit. This is the no bullshit live chat. Are the new RS injectors only required for using Stage 3 E85 maps only, or are they needed for Stage 3 normal fuel high output files too?
There's not really going to be any benefit on gasoline stuff. There's the current RS5 injectors are fine for those. For if you're just running gasoline, have no intention of running ethanol.
Yeah,
there's really not going to be a benefit.
The reason the RS Plus injectors exist is due to the substantially higher fuel demand that E85 puts on the factory fuel system. We make the RS Plus injectors compatible with 91 and 93 so that you can still switch between the various fuels. But if it wasn't for E85, you wouldn't need RS Plus. So if you never plan on running E85, we'll just tell you don't need those injectors. You can save the money and spend it on something else. But if you do run E85, we strongly recommend at this point going to RS Plus. It's the only safe way to run E85. Given the fact that it's a viable option now. Javad is always spicy. That's the no BS approach. That's right, motherfucker. But don't come on here with your bullshit. I'll shove it right back down your throat.
Yeah, we're all car guys. We're all enthusiasts. Yeah. We all want all the fun stuff all the time too. We're working day and night to get that to you guys as quickly and reliably and safely as we can.
Yeah. Can you all look into publishing the instructions for enabling disabling options in the ECU TCU tunes, like a printable cheat sheet people can just keep in their car?
I'm not quite sure what they're asking here. I think maybe this is like a B8, like the advanced features and stuff with the cruise control on, maybe?
It's not a bad idea. Wouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah, we could do like a little card on the website or something you guys can just print out if you want.
Yeah, Nick, write that down. Yeah, it could be a fun little thing to do. Could even be a sticker you stick on your your
fans are on when you gotta stop.
Something.
Look here.
Yeah. Hello, B9.5 owner here, Stage 2. I know with the transmission revision, you guys stated the 22 TCU. Yeah, so the 22 plus and later TCU, that's a different generation TCU. And nothing that we've done.
Yeah, it's different in the being able to flash it. The software is identical,
yeah.
So once we have a reliable solution for you guys for unlocking and flashing those, it's the same calibrations. Like there's not really any difference in the calibrations. It's just in the
but
validation.
That has not been cracked by anybody. That's still something that the industry as a whole has not been able to get past. And so we have workarounds for it. Thankfully, we have patch files that allow you to run ECU tunes. But yeah, that TCU has not been cracked. When it is, trust me, you'll hear all about it. But everyone Every time there's any peep about anything software related, everyone just asks about that, and we get it, but nobody has that right now. It's still fully locked out. B8.5 Q5 3.0T, is there any way to fully disable traction and stability control?
The Q5s, actually on the B8. Oh gosh, I gotta put my thinking hat on here. There's just so many combos we've been dealing with lately. I believe those. Oh goodness, I believe those go fully off on the B8 Q5. Just by holding it down, I'd have to confirm. A lot of the SUVs get an extra layer of torque interventions that are not ECU based. They're entirely embedded in the ASR, the traction control system, and the ABS modules. There's a lot more nannies in the SUVs. So beyond what is there from the ECU, no, there's other stuff at play, potentially. Again, I'd have to go back through my notes on those specifically. Did you see this?
Yeah. Nice response towards someone who's supported your company for 16 years and over 17,000 spent. I didn't respond to how long you've been a customer or how much you've spent with us. I honestly have no idea who you are, dude. I'm just responding to the things you're saying and the way you're acting. That's why I said to take a look in the mirror.
Yeah, we treat everyone the same. You know, how you treat us is going to affect how we treat you as well. We're here, like I said, we're all enthusiasts. We're all trying to get all of this done and give you guys the most badass solutions as quickly as we can.
Yeah. Someone says, seriously, man, Javon and Fremont and other 034 crew all are awesome people who clearly love what they do. Cool. Appreciate that. Thank you. We do. We're here to help and serve. I'll just say for anyone watching, it's not easy putting yourself out there like this. I have memes made of me. I have videos where my head's a clown. I have things that I say taken out of context and edited. I mean, it's literally like I'm a fucking politician, you know? And I don't really fucking care. That's why I keep coming back here every week. I love the fact that we get to interact with you guys and we get to have honest and frank conversations. We get to answer your questions in real time. Someone made a reel a few weeks ago where he like came on and asked us a question and we answered it and it was right and he fixed his problem and it was great. And it's like, that's what this is all about. But at minimum, you know, sometime set your phone up and video yourself talking for 2 minutes and then watch that shit and see how fucking cringy it is. It's awful, right? So that's at the basis of like, this whole thing is very uncomfortable. Nate is not, you know, neither of us are VJs, neither of us are actors, when neither of us have been trained to be in front of the camera. Nate's the most, you know, uncomfortable guy in this situation. But we're putting ourselves out there, okay? So don't, you know, have a little sympathy, and then also, you know, when it comes to like saying that we're talking about bullshit or whatever, it's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Yeah. This is hard enough the way it is, you know. All right, upgrading high pressure fuel pump in my B9.5 S5. Anything else I should consider replacing while I'm in there? Just in regards to the high pressure fuel pump. Not that I know of. I mean, that's a pretty...
Not while you're in there. I mean, there's the roller follower, but I don't know that I've ever seen one...
I don't hear about that on the B9.
Damn it, no. No.
That was like an EA AAA thing.
Yeah, no, you should be good. While you're in there, it's a very tight little spot. There's not a lot in there, so...
Yeah, it's just a fuel pump stuck outside of the motor.
Yeah.
So you could maybe, like, you know, since you get your tools out, you could change your plugs or something, or, you know, put some new coils in there. But yeah, we're all about while you were in there, but there's not much.
Yeah, just take your time with it. There are some seals and stuff you got to be really careful with on the piston, around the piston on the low pressure side. Yeah. So just take your time.
Can 034 SPI display track useful data channel views like LAT plus log, G, yaw, ABS, actuation, wheel speed, etc. outside of the parameters available and OBD Performance View? Is there a Chassis Performance View?
So yes, we can display, and we do display, and we do log all of that on a lot of our track testing stuff. What's available is specific on some platforms and you know, logging setups, so it's not a universal thing necessarily, but we're bringing a lot more we call it RAM logging, but a lot more low-level logging to almost everything across the board, where we get all of that data. The ECU's got all of that in it, for the most part, since like Mark V era Volkswagens and up. So it's coming. It's certainly, if you have a request for it, let us know. We can do all kinds of stuff like that.
Yes, that's a really interesting suggestion.
The track logging group. We have track logging groups that we use exactly for this reason. So yeah, if you're on track, hit us up. We can probably get something set up for you guys that are tracking it, because we do all the driver inputs, steering angle, brake pressure, obviously throttle position, latitude, longitudinal G. Some cars you can do GPS logging as well to know where you are on track. So yeah, there's quite a lot of cool stuff in there.
Nick, write that down. Just here to say I love your products, and B5 is the best chassis. Hell yeah. I just rode on a B5 this morning.
Love me some B5. Oh, you did?
Yeah. It like, as I walked up to the car, I was like, what is this, a car for ants? Like, it was
They're so small compared to like the B8 and their B9s and B10s now.
Shit. I mean, the whole car is like 8 feet long. It was hilarious. And we're just sitting like shoulders touching each other.
Son is a really small guy too.
Yeah. But yeah, no, those the good old days. I wish those cars, like, I wish I could just go back in time and get like, a car from like 2003 and just bring it to present. It's just so old, and
they've seen some things now.
Yeah, it's just, they're just not very well maintained, and they've got a lot of use, but they're still such great cars. Yeah.
No, it's that was, I think it's one of the most timeless like generations that Audi and Volkswagen have produced.
And we still have a great product line for those, and we love supporting those cars as long as we can. With your SQ7 tune in the works, what's one thing you guys think Audi nailed on the platform and or powertrain, and is Stage 2 planned for the platform? Thanks, happy Turkey Day. I know the answer to this immediately. The fucking suspension on that car is magical, and especially the shocks or dampers on the car. It feels like a high-end, Öhlins race suspension or something. It's pretty shocking how good that car, how good the factory suspension is in that car. And I've gone around corners at speeds that no SUV should be able to do in that car. And that's just with stock factory suspension and ZTF 21-inch wheels and 315 tires. It's a lot of tire.
It's a lot of tire.
But the car is just unflappable. That suspension soaks up every bump or irregularity in the road. So I think they did a great job. And obviously that motor is just,
it's got a lot of
amazing.
Motor, yeah.
Just even stock, the power that thing produces is awesome. And then with our tuning now, it's just a whole nother echelon of power. So it's a really great car, really great platform, really nice interior layout, good tech, just real comfortable, luxurious car that's like a performance powerhouse.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome too.
Yeah, great.
And you get all the sensory inputs with those.
Yeah. Nice big brakes. I mean, just the car does that, just about everything well. And you can take 7 people in it, I don't know what number 2 is.
2?
Oh,
Just
rock.
saying.
Okay. Sorry, I read
I was like,
stock.
that seems okay.
B9 S4 E85 Stage 1 Plus. Just so you know, your tunes rock. Oh, great to hear. Thank you. I'm glad you're happy. That's the whole point. Hey, before we run out of time, we got 10 minutes. I want to talk about our new bump stops that we've had featured here. And so we have a full line in stock, ready to ship for a pretty broad range of Volkswagen and Audi applications. This is something that we've been wanting to do for a bit. It took a few years to get this product line engineered and off the ground and manufactured, but we're really pleased to be able to release it now and have it to market. For a long time, with our lowering springs, we've recommended customers trim the factory bump stops, and that is an option, and it's better than nothing. The problem is a bump stop is sort of the final bit of suspension that prevents the car from bottoming out. Bump stops do actually come into play more than a lot of people think, and they give the car a progressive nature. So as the suspension compresses, the bump stops start getting involved and start compressing and adding additional spring resistance to the suspension far sooner than you'd know or feel. But
to be clear, these are not salt and pepper shakers, as somebody just mentioned.
No, see, they're hollow bushings. Yeah. And so when you lower the car, let's say you lower it an inch, the suspension is now 1 inch closer to the bump stop. That means the factory bump stop is going to start interacting much sooner than it's supposed to. And one way you know that you're having bump stop issues is you'll be driving the car, let's say on a flat, smooth surface, and it feels fine, but then you kind of go into a turn and you hit a bump, and the suspension just feels like it's bottomed out, and then the car just comes bouncing back, and it's honestly can be very scary and unsettling to the whole car. Because what's happened is your suspension is essentially stopped working because the bump stop has stopped the suspension from working. And this is going to happen if you, say, lower a car 2 inches with factory bump stops. You're going to have this kind of problem, guaranteed. So for our suspensions, our lowering springs, if you lower the car an inch, we recommend you trim like a ½ inch or up to an inch off the factory bump stop. And that's better than nothing, and that certainly makes things functional. But what happens is, as you can see, these bump stops are shaped, and they compress. They get stiffer the more they compress. And so what happens if we, say, cut the top of this bump stop off, you're now left with this thicker, stiffer bottom portion. So you lose a lot of the progressiveness of the bump stop. So with our 034 density bump stops, what we're able to do is re-engineer and design them to be shorter, so they still can operate like a factory bump stop, as if the car was 1 inch lower from the factory. This is really the ultimate way to do the bump stop, and we strongly recommend adding these to any spring purchase. Even if you're using another company's springs, these bump stops are the right bump stops. They're certainly substantially better than stock bump stops, and they're going to be quite a bit better than trimmed factory bump stops. The trimmed factory bump stops will technically clear, so they won't hit as soon, but once they engage, they'll be too stiff.
There's no progression.
Yeah, there's no progression, and so that's where we're able to add that back in. So again, this is made from the same basic materials as the factory bump stops. These aren't necessarily supposed to be stiffer or harder. They're just supposed to be shorter so that the bump stop is now sized correctly to the new level or height of the factory suspension. If you have any questions, shoot them over. And they are in stock and ready to ship. And they're cheap. I mean, I think for a whole car, you're going to be looking at less than $100. So.
People were saying they look like salt.
Yeah, we already got that. Yeah. And then now people are asking when we're going to have salt and pepper shakers. So
it's not a bad idea.
Nope, we should do a little line there. Peugeot did. I mean,
that's
they
right.
They get some really
they're
salt
peppers.
That's what I use in my sitting on my kitchen table.
Mm-hmm. If I install 034 lowering springs besides an alignment, is there anything else that will be needed over time?
Convenient timing. This was actually a question that came through right as we were talking.
You're going to want to do our bump stops. Aside from that, you shouldn't need to do much else. It might be a good time to take a look at your control arms and do control arms and things like that.
Yeah, just inspect everything.
Yeah. Let's see, is there a way to have the SPI app show us information of our vehicles without having the dongle connected? That way we can see what versions are installed without going to the vehicle?
Not currently. The SPI app is very vehicle agnostic. It doesn't care what vehicle essentially you're connected to. It's as long as your account has and that vehicle have permissions for specific things. So no, we don't store a ton of vehicle specific and calibration specific stuff on there because it's a moment in time where the last thing stored on there may not be what was actually loaded on there from a different user dongle or otherwise. So we make sure everything's up to date by making sure you're connected. So presently, no, it's not something that's obviously impossible or out of the question, but currently there's not a method for doing that.
Yeah. What's next for the RS5 since CTA came out with the 850 for the S models? I don't think it would be right for the little brother to be faster than the big brother. I also want to let you guys know I put over 50,000 miles on your Stage 3 RS5 file. It's been nothing but solid, consistently running. Well, great to hear about your Stage 3, and that's what we hear from pretty much all customers who run that. Yes, we are working with TTE to come out with a bigger RS5 turbo option, and we will be testing and validating that for them, like we did with the 850.
Yep.
So stay tuned, but there's definitely more coming for the RS5 as well. Down to a few minutes. I don't know, there's this big long one down here.
Oh goodness, yeah, I haven't seen that.
RS5 OEM head stud wheel horsepower limit. We're definitely seeing head gaskets start to leak or the heads start to lift, which results in burping into the coolant.
Yeah.
No actual like catastrophic failure or anything, but the combustion pressure starts burping into the cooling system, pressurizing the cooling system, and that's obviously not sustainable. But I think we see that on track-driven cars running Stage 3, and maybe like Stage 2 E85 cars.
Yeah, that's
that are driven really hard.
What the scenarios are that they're how they're used.
We don't see it very much on the streets. Very rare on a street-driven car, and I don't think we've seen it much with Stage 1. So we do now have 11 mil head studs. And we've found that that's completely solved any kind of head lifting issues. Unfortunately, the Wagner 10 mil head studs, even though they're a much higher tensile strength material, still do lift. And I don't even know if Wagner still sells those. So we now offer their 11 mil head studs, and we're also going to be coming out with some of our own studs as well. We're even working on a 12 mil head stud upgrade for people who want to really go all out.
No, now they're going to get asking about that.
I know.
Number 3 is an interesting one for the last couple minutes here.
I hear a lot about thermal management in terms of high temps, but what safety measures, if any, are in place before engine is up to temp? I live in Canada, and short drives are somewhat unavoidable. Yeah, the biggest issue with short drives is really nothing to do about ECU tuning or calibration. It's to do with condensation buildup inside the engine block and the resulting water buildup in your oil. So every time you start your motor, your cylinder block is cold, and the inside of the cylinder block gets filled with warm air, partially from combustion and the heat of combustion. So that immediately creates condensation on the inside of the block. All the cold surfaces inside the block get condensed just like a cold glass of water would on a warm day. And that water all runs down into your oil. That's not a problem if you warm your car up and you drive long enough to get temps above boiling. So that's why typically you see cooling systems and oil temps heat to above 212 degrees. That allows any water in the oil to recondense and exit the block through the crankcase PCV ventilation system. So when you do short drives, you never get the coolant and oil up to temp. That water just continues to build up, and I've literally seen engine blocks filled with water as a result.
Yeah.
So this is the main issue on why you don't want to do short drives. There's really nothing the ECU can do about that.
It tries
a little bit. It could heat it up sooner or something.
It tries its hardest to limit the coolant paths and stuff to get the block and oil and stuff up to temp as quickly as it can. But yeah, it's thermodynamics, right? There's only so much heat that is being generated in such amount of time. So it's got a big mass of engine block and oil and whatnot to heat up. But it'll try its hardest. It'll basically shut off coolant flow. Except where absolutely necessary. That's why the failure-prone B9 water pumps have vacuum actuators and whatnot in them to alter that coolant path to get the motor up to temperature as quick as possible. Same thing with oil. You're going to keep the oil circulating within the motor and not send it to the cooling paths until it's up to its optimum temps. So it's trying, but if you're doing really short drives all the time and nothing's getting up to temp, then there's not a lot it can do.
Yeah, you really shouldn't be doing that. Unfortunately, there's no good way around that.
Yep.
Even I think if you just let the car idle for a while and get up to temp, just do your best to to get some heat into it. Otherwise, you're going to want to change your oil more often, much sooner than the recommended interval. So there's no good trade-off there.
Mm-hmm.
One quick question. Someone says, what are some good gift ideas for VW Audi enthusiasts from someone that isn't a huge car nerd? Certainly take a look at our swag and what's it called on the homepage?
Gear.
Our gear page on our website. We have quite a bit of stuff, more than most people realize, which I think any VW Audi enthusiast would get a kick out of. You can also buy gift cards on our website. The gift of shopping would be a great one. Beyond that, I think gift certificates to places where you can buy, maintenance supplies and things like that. Tools are always welcome for most enthusiasts. You could get them a track day with, say, the Audi Club. I don't know if you think of anything else.
No, I think that covers it. It's tough unless you're really embedded with what they're doing and can get a very specific they actually need it thing. It gets tricky. So you kind of want to hit the general vibe of a car gift. So something could even be something. I used to enjoy a lot of like the historical books. There's some really neat like origin stories for almost every car make that's out there. If they if they don't have something like that, that can also be a fun coffee table book.
I think another thing most people overlook when it comes to VW Audi enthusiasts, they like sex. So sex is always a great gift too. Great Christmas present.
Different key.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all our time for today. In fact, we're over a little bit. Thank you for those of you who joined us and were pleasant to deal with. We appreciate it.
And for those celebrating, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think we'll be back next Monday if the Xanax prescription comes through. Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.